Hello, and welcome to your full moon tarot forecast for the full moon in Leo 2023. Welcome. If you're new to these readings, my name is Shea Walker. I'm an intuitive coach, teacher, reader, and oracle deck creator living in Chicago, Illinois, and we are going to dive into a full moon tarot forecast. If you'd like to know more about me or the many things that I offer, look at the links below. It's a little secret world that you can explore down there. And without further ado, we're going to dive in, starting with our Total Betty 2.0 deck. We're going to get a 90s inspired goddess to rule over, hang on. So we have 3 cards that have come out and they were all jumpers and they all feel important and I feel like they're going to be read together. So I'm going to break them down for you. First up, we have Queen Marimba, played by Whitney Houston in The Bodyguard. Second up, we have Thetis, played by Christina Applegate in Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. And third and finally, we have Artemis, played by Claire Danes in My So-Called Life. So these are very different energies, but we're gonna make them work together because they came out together. It's Leo new moon, and honestly, they kind of make sense for Leo energy. So this is very much an energy of Queen Marimba, using your voice, being able to be center stage and be seen and let people observe what you have to say or hear your voice, whether it be speaking or singing. Thetis is all about transforming yourself and being able to play a character or shape shift. And Artemis is about nurturing your becoming, about being able to take care of your inner child. So all of these are telling me that this Leo full moon is bringing out our childhood desire to see and be seen and feel safe in the roles that we're playing within the world, and also to play around with different roles. So if I'm gonna just take a break from the individual goddesses and read the overall energy here, I think that we have a little bit of an inner child desire to be something that we aren't in adulthood. So there's something within your childhood that you really desired to be as an adult. And maybe throughout the years, because of society or parental expectations or what have you, you've let go of some of those dreams. And underneath this Leo full moon, you're being called back to those dreams. Maybe they're not going to be for your vocation, though they might be, but you're being called to remember that part of yourself that wanted to be something different than what you are now. And it's okay if it kind of feels like you're playing a character for a while. Thetis, as our shapeshifter, is saying that you kind of can fake it till you make it in some of these cases. So if that's the case for you, don't think of it as faking it as being inauthentic, because ultimately it's a desire that you have deep within your soul. Think of it as putting on a costume and letting yourself kind of embody that character until you feel more comfortable in that clothing. So a lot of actors, myself included as a former theater major, didn't really find the character until they got the external going on. So work from the outside in if you need to, and that's great under Leo energy because Leo loves a good makeover. But you do have to feel comfortable with this new character that you're starting to play. So whatever the new role is in your life, be it professional or personal, maybe you're a new mom, maybe you're in a new relationship, you're kind of putting on the costume, you're trying it on, you're feeling it out, you're trying to figure out how you naturally move within this new character, and that's okay. You'll find your way, and these goddesses are here to support you. So we'll move into our energy and advice from the Modern Witch Tarot deck, and we are going to find out what the energy and advice from the tarot cards are, and we had 2 jump right out. Perfect. So first up, we have our energy of the 9 of Pentacles, and our advice, Temperance. So this is a very good sign if you particularly resonated for a career-based reading. If you are kind of shifting careers, shifting fields, shifting your title at work and putting on that new costume within your work life, this definitely feels like that's going to be what the bulk of this reading is going to be about. But if you're looking at this reading from a more personal perspective as a relationship or a family situation or what have you, allow yourself to use the career as a metaphor for what's going on for you, because we're reading for lots of energy here. Just use it where it applies. So the 9 of Pentacles says that there's been a lot of work that's been done here already. So even though you might be putting on this costume that feels a little strange, maybe it's a little itchy, maybe it doesn't fit quite right, you've done the work to make it work. So if we're going to use the very Leo appropriate theatrical metaphor, if you're an actor who's preparing for a role, who's learned your lines, who knows the character inside and out, and then the costume's the last thing that comes into play, sometimes those two things might not go together right away. You have to kind of figure out a way to make the costume that you've been provided work with the vision that you had before that, and it just takes a shift of perspective. So the Nine of Pentacles is saying that you've done all your work as an actor. You have done your research, you have learned your lines, you know who your character is. But now you're putting on the costume and things might feel a little off, but you'll find your footing, because ultimately Temperance is telling us that this is all about balance and creating balance between things that may not look from the outside world like they should be balanced. Temperance is a little bit of making the impossible possible, and the outside world is like, how are you doing this voodoo magic? So this is about allowing yourself to know internally what's happening and let the outside world think that it's just magic. So what do you need to do to tell yourself, to reprogram your mind, to make this costume that you're putting on feel right for the character that you've developed? How can you take this new aspect of your life and who you authentically are at your core and balance them in a way that seems to the outside world like it would be impossible, but somehow you make it work? So if that resonated for you, if you are working on embodying a new version of yourself, particularly if it's business related, the rest of this reading might be for you as well. The Monthly Mystics is a beautiful community, not just for these extended readings, but also access to the live tarot events that happen every full moon. And you also get access to the lower level perks of the Weekly Witch, which is a weekly pick a card with a goddess riff from the Total Betty Goddess deck. And every Sunday, you get distance Reiki sent to you and a little reading recap happening over on the Patreon as well. So if any of that resonates for you, links are below. And if you're watching this on the Patreon, the rest of your reading starts right now.